families, friends, and Texas community at large are still trying to come to terms with the shocking scenes that unfolded at Robb Elementary School. Salvador Ramos, an 18-year-old teenager, opened fire on school premises, killing 21 people in a shooting spree. 19 of those killed were school children. The tragedy in Texas has revived old debates about gun laws in the country. Let's take a look at how various communities have been coping with the shock and speak to Phillip Scott, who is the founder of the African Diaspora News Channel. He's live to us from Houston, Texas this morning. Phillip, we do so appreciate your time, given that it's 1:30 in the morning where you are. I want to begin with this. Greg Abbott has sent his condolences to the families of the children killed in the latest mass shooting. He stopped short of saying anything about tackling gun laws, instead calling on the community to unite and pray.
Correct. But this is the thing what you have to understand about here in the United States of America. The Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms, is enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. People definitely on the Republican or conservative party, they believe in that. They do not want to take away guns. Matter of fact, in the state of Texas, last year they released a new law where now you can open carry firearms. Before we had a concealed carry where you had to go to class, you had to shoot the firearm, pay $40, then you can have a concealed carry. Now in Texas, people can get a gun with no background check. You can walk around open with a gun all you want here in Texas. It's literally like the Wild Wild West in this particular state. So Greg Abbott, what he's saying, he's at fault for what's going on with a lot of guns here in the state. Then not only him, but also the NRA, the National Rifle Association, all the gun lobby that lobbies our senators and our Congress people. You know, that continent of Africa, they always want to use the term corrupt leaders, corrupt this and corrupt that. There's a lot of corruption in the U.S. politics as well. They just word it a little different. They call it lobbyists. But what the lobbyists do is go to the senators and say, hey, we'll donate X amount of dollars to your campaign. Just when this bill come up, can you vote yes or no on it? Well, that's corruption, but no one really wants to talk about that.
Well, that's actually the next question I want to ask you, Phillip, because we need you to explain why the U.S. gun lobby is so powerful. And it's because of what you've just said, the millions of dollars spent on supporting various politicians.
Correct. But also outside of that, you have to understand here in the United States, just even at the inception of this country, guns has always been, part of it. The gun laws actually came in to stop black Americans from having guns because we were always being the victims of white supremacist terrorism. So we had armed ourselves at that time. And so the first gun laws was actually to keep guns out of the hands of black Americans. But the way they view guns, especially in the white American community here, they view it like a religion. They just got to have a gun. They got to have an ability to kill somebody. They don't feel comfortable if they don't have a gun. And that is, very horrible. Children can't go to school anymore like they're supposed to. You look at the people that lost their lives in Buffalo by white supremacist terrorists by the name of Peyton Gendron. Just going to the grocery store. Could you imagine you going to the Pick and Pay or one of those stores like that in South Africa and somebody come in and just start gunning, people down for the simple fact that they hate them because they're black? And there's another 18-year-old terrorist that went in and done this to those elderly people. I mean, it's sick and it's sad and it's evil, and they do not want to get rid of those guns, in my opinion. Listen, I understand you need to defend yourself. I get it. But a handgun, a shotgun, that's good for self-defense. What do you need with an AR-15, which is equivalent to an AK-47 with a 5.56 bullet? What do you need that for?
Well, exactly. So why not amend the gun laws so that, you have the right to bear arms and to protect yourself, but surely you can't be 18 years old, walk into a store without a background check, and, as you say, have the ability to buy a rifle?
Well, in this country, they would never stop people from buying guns. They produce so much guns in the United States that everybody in America could have a gun. This is part of the reason why we haven't been invaded, because they have that many guns in this country. But Bill O'Reilly, he used to be the host at Fox News Channel when they had a mass shooting in Las Vegas at a concert. He said, well, that's just the price of freedom. That's how they think in the white American community, is that they will be okay with mass shootings, just don't take my gun away. Now, the majority of the country would like some comprehensive gun laws, but the gun lobby and definitely the Republicans is going to stand in the way of that every single time. And then now we have a conservative majority Supreme Court, so they're going to even get involved with it as well. So it's kind of like nobody can do nothing about it, and this is why that, black Americans for sure, and others, but black Americans, they say we're not safe in this country, but look, like I say, look at what happened in Buffalo.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring up the Supreme Court, because what's happening now is in stark contrast, I should say, to what we heard with the Supreme Court leak with Roe versus Wade and the changes to abortion legislation in the U.S. So what critics are saying is that we want to protect children before they are born, but we don't have any kind of urgency in protecting children while they're at school.
Well, let me just be honest with you. The white numbers globally are dropping, especially here in the United States as well. And the getting rid of abortion is to save the white population. That's what it is, because white women, in their mind, is aborting too many white children. So they even going to make them have a child if they were even violated by a man, make them have a child. This is what they're trying to push. Now, many people agree with abortion, some don't, but we know that's what it is. They're trying to save their numbers by any means necessary. And this is going to be interesting to see how this works out.
So what needs to happen, Phillip? What needs to happen? Sandy Hook happened in 2012. Fast forward to, and there have been several incidents in between 2012 and 2022 with this latest Texas shooting. What needs to happen?
Well, what you could do, is I suggested this immediately, you can tax and regulate ammo. That's what I would do. I would move certain ammunition and guns to a Class 3 status, because in the United States, you cannot have full automatic weapons. That is a Class 3 license, and which is about $10,000 US. I would take AR-15s and many weapons like that and different ammo and put it in Class 3 status. I would put a lot of taxes and regulation on it that you couldn't get ammo like that or body armor or anything. But that's what somebody wants to do something. Unfortunately, I live in a state, we had 3 major shootings. It's Uvalde, the El Paso shooting, I think in 2019, and then we had the Santa Fe High School shooting. That's 3 under this particular governor, Greg Abbott, and he didn't do anything. And unfortunately, the American government's not going to do anything about it. We'll see it again and again and again and again.
Barack Obama said for his presidency it was the most frustrating thing that he couldn't make a dent in changing U.S. gun laws. Joe Biden has said similar sentiments now in the wake of the Texas shooting. So you're saying, fine, if you're not going to change the gun laws, look at other ways of trying to change things.
Correct. And that's the one thing, because guns are kind of enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, but not ammunition, not body armor, not any kind of thing like that, okay? So that's what I would go after. If you would heavily regulate the bullets, make it so expensive like they do in the gas, make it so expensive where they can't afford to buy all that, because this is the thing that we're constantly asking. Where's all this money coming from? 18-year-olds buying a $700 AR-15. Where is he getting the money from and all those bullets? Bullets isn't really too cheap either. We want to know where the money is coming from, and it keeps happening over and over and over and over again. But once again, we live in a country that doesn't prioritize dealing with that issue. We have a major racism, white supremacy issue in this country. We look at what happened in Buffalo. He had the N-word literally written on the gun. I mean, we have that issue going on, too, that's sparking a lot of this. And then when Kyle Rittenhouse got off of killing those people in open court, we were calling it now the Rittenhouse effect of all these young, people, and a lot of them is in the white community. Now, this was a, Hispanic person, but they are going around just want to shoot people for fame, because some people want, what we call an internet clout.
Phillip Scott, let me thank you for your time once again, because we know it's the early hours of the morning in Houston, Texas, where you are. He's the founder of the African Diaspora News Channel, live to us there from Houston.